harvest told me so. It's green for me. It's green for me.
Welcome you all to this gathering. The Institute has continued to make a giant strides and continues to be a host to both international and national events.
It is my profound pleasure to welcome you to the National Soil Summit, where we gather to exploit the vital connection between soil and health, human health. Today we embark on a critical conversation that will shape the future of our planet and the well-being of generations to come. The Institute of Agricultural Research and Training has the national mandate for coordinating soil research in Nigeria. The Institute has seasoned soil scientists that conduct cutting-edge research aimed at developing improved soil management technologies tailored for various agroecologists in Nigeria, in collaboration with relevant organizations. It is relevant to highlight some of the Institute's past and ongoing initiatives at addressing sustainable soil use and management for enhanced food security. Such achievements or initiatives is comprehensive soil data repository that serves as the basis for the development of soil information system covering all agroecological zones in Nigeria. Soil survey of 49 local government areas for land evaluation, soil pollution assessment of urban and peri-urban, research on different fertilizer sources and soil analysis, fertilizer evaluation and validation.
I am glad to welcome all participants to this ECO event, which is germane to our national agricultural development. The theme, soil information management, challenges, perspective, and possibilities for sustainable land use and food security, is very crucial to address the present food insecurity and land use hazard. FOA in the year 2020 reported that soil degradation is occurring at an alarming rate of 2.5% per annum. Unsustainable land use has been the main constraint facing agriculture in Nigeria, and there are lots of uncoordinated data that need to be harmonized to guide sustainable land use. As mentioned by our key speaker, population growth in Nigeria is leading to increased pressure and competition on the available land for alternative uses. In addition, lack of land use planning and understanding of the importance of soil information is leading to land misuse. All these have aggravated the problems of soil degradation, which may be slow and gradual, but is becoming more and more difficult to manage. Hence, organizing this program is very important to provide solutions and recommendations for effective land use.
Address delivered by Dr. Kakubu Florence Omonwele, the State Coordinator of Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, representing the Honorable Minister of State, Senator Ali Sabi Abdullahi, and the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, and Dr. Temitope Peter Hashebe. I am honored to represent the Honorable Minister of State for Agriculture and the Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security at this National Summit. Today, we gather to discuss a critical aspect of our nation's food security and sustainable development, soil information management. The theme of this summit, soil information management, challenges, perspectives, and possibilities for sustainable land use and food security, resonates deeply with our ministry's commitment to promoting sustainable agricultural practices and ensuring food security for all Nigerians. As we all know, soil is the backbone of agriculture, and its health directly impacts our food production capacity. However, soil degradation, erosion, and nutrient depletion pose significant challenges to our agricultural sector.
It's gladly my heart to be here to represent my Deputy Director, Dr. Adebola, the Deputy Director of the Food Society of Nigeria. Our good message as regards this summit is to really show that the Iar&T has been doing research severally on soil, and they have been pioneers. And all other institutes, even including CRIM, have benefited from them, even in their past work. I remember when I was doing my PhD, my soil analysis was going to this institute to be analyzed by this institute. And today, by the grace of God, without them, I will not be able to be what I am today. CRIM, we are fully in support of Iar&T at any time they are interested in forwarding this presentation today to the federal government for policy maker to really make sure that this thing is not just insane or just something they will put in cooler after this knowledge sharing and so on and so forth. There is need for implementation. There is need for policy maker to really back up the importance of soil, because without soil, there is no growth.
I want to use this medium to congratulate each and every one of us for making it come to this very august occasion. As we all know, West Africa is constituted with a lot of countries, and Nigeria has more than 50% of the population of West Africa. And we can all see that the population of Nigeria is actually increasing at a geometrical progression rate, which is actually sending a signal to each and every one of us, ranging from higher institutions, research institutes, and progressive-minded Nigerians. If the population is increasing, we should all know that food production should be increasing as well.
To advance soil information, particularly in respect to soil health and sustainable agriculture. May our discoveries and connections here spark a meaningful discovery and progress towards improved soil stewardship and a healthier climate for all.
I love this quote that I came up with in the year 2020. And I said, our soil is our life. There is no bigger truth than that. And that is because there is no food security without a healthy soil. Good soil puts adequate and healthy food on our plates. It purifies our water. It helps us to prevent drought, curtails flooding. It is also the key to tackling climate change because it captures and stores a vast amount of carbon. If a nation plays with its soil, is playing with its own sovereignty. It's playing with its food security. In fact, if we do not give adequate attention to our soil, we are not only joking with today, we are also joking with the dignity of our posterity. Let me say that soil is a non-renewable asset, and so it requires all efforts that we can give to it to maintain and sustain it. Maybe I should say a few things that Professor taught us from 200 level to 500 level at the agronomy department at University of Ibadan, that the soil is the source and sink of all nutrients. I believe that I have your agreement to that. It is a global source, store of carbon. It filters water. I want to say that it also attenuates many toxic substances that is available in the rhizosphere. Now, it is a house to trillions of microorganisms that plays several roles in sustaining our environment. It is the biggest store of biodiversity and support all the structure that we see now. When you put all this importance of soil together, that we need to give a lot of attention to managing our soil. But distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this prized asset is getting degraded. And when I use the word degraded, it is because there is no other word that is bigger than that. This asset is getting destroyed. It's getting off our hand. It's getting to a level where it can no longer produce to sustain our existence. And the implication of that is that we will continue to depend on others for food and several other supports that our soil should offer. I like this illustration very much, and I've used it several times. You know, we are now in soil degradation crisis. It's even go beyond soil fertility crisis. But the fertility crisis is the peak of it that you see every day, and it's affecting. I mean, this study was carried out by APNI, and we discovered that we now have 40% negative nutrient balance when you consider the NP and K. Negative nutrient balance in the sense that we have exploited and never returned nutrients up to 40%, because we just go to the soil, plant and mine nutrients up, we eat it and we throw it away. And the soil nutrient losses cost about $4 to $10 billion per year. That's a lot of resources gone off our land, and this is because of the way we use it. Then we have the acute land degradation now. 65% of the crop land is degraded in Africa generally. And when I compare the statistics with Nigeria, I tell you Nigeria is far on the negative side. So our crop land they are at different level of degradation. About 69% of Nigerian land are degraded. And so we are not facing the risk of non-responsive soil. Non-responsive soil, and that is it. I'll still speak more around this, not why we have non-responsive soil from recent research. And so, even when you put in fertilizer, response of crop to fertilizer is very low in Nigeria. Possibly because we do not use it very well, but possibly because of the nature and properties of our soil and a number of other issues that we need to give attention to. When you look at this side of the slide, we do a lot of land application of different, then it leads to different division. We have this land degradation, poor management, low yield, negative environmental impact, and eventually malnutrition and poverty.
Heavy load, but my vows I won't be breaking. Though my heart is aching, I got a word and I won't let go. It's your will I'm seeking, so I keep on believing. I see it now, I understand, I know, so I embrace it.
On our program, it says, bridging soil information gap, management barriers, enhancing land use and food security strategies. I wish to call Professor James Yayoba to give his presentation.
my presentation is just to stimulate discussion on this subject matter. I try to lay some foundation about soil health and soil information system in Nigeria. Looking at Nigeria from the first presentation, the keynote, we were able to discover that the country has, we are already making a progress, we are already making an attempt, so we are not at point zero. Like I said in one of our meetings in Nairobi some time ago, when we were looking at the African soil information system, they group us into different categories, and I belong to the optimists. I don't want to join the people that are complaining. So I move to the people that are still optimistic that Africa can get it right. And I'm happy that Ethiopia is already showing the rest of Africa and the rest of the world that we can get it right with soil information system. Looking at the importance of soil health, in the morning, Professor Wale has already established the need and the trend in food security in Africa and particularly in Nigeria. And he was also able to pinpoint that for us to be able to achieve food security, attention has to be on soil and soil information system. And generally, there are some things that fundamental functions of soil, which he identified in the morning, but I will borrow from the FAO graphics that depicts all the fundamental functions of the soil, from infiltration, from filtering to carbon sequestration, to crop growth, to regeneration, to pharmaceutical, to so many things that soil does.
Can I start with
Thank you, sir. Well, thank you for that presentation. We, like you said, we are getting there gradually. But one thing still remains, and we can still clean up the non-geographic data. It's a big problem, and the president is aware of that. It's like the attempt that we made in the first society in Nigeria. There was a time that we wanted the government to front the soil data that we have got.
For example, like the soil of the Savannah soil of southwestern Nigeria, where the data were collected, they will tell you that the point is at kilometer 5 along Shepherdsbury in Bohoro. And it's not useful. So what we can do is that once we have the data, we have the analysis where even outside Nigeria, what we intend doing is to go into that area, have a point, and your reference is because they have given us a link to that particular point. So if we put that throughout Nigeria, we don't need to go into field again and be digging profile to give reference. That is one thing.
Going through the topic of this session, which is soil participation gaps and management barriers. And after listening to Professor Jackie and what he said, I think the issue is to first ask the critical question that we have gaps, and if the gap exists, can we actually identify it? Is it adaptation noise caused by natural occurrence. But I think with what people have said, our problem is not the problem of solid information. It does exist. But the problem really is we are not harnessing those information. I remember in 2015 when this project, ACAI, Asaba Alumni Initiative is coming up. I think one of the arguments I sold to Gates Foundation was that there isn't enough information about Asaba Alumni. And it sell to them and they want to eat and they release the fund. Then the question you ask them is, for all these years, does it mean every researcher has not done anything at all about cassava? But they have people at Iar&T, but it's just a case of it's not being well documented. So the same thing happens here.
The managing the soil earth. The soil earth indicators are there. That's one. Number two. I told you this morning, we were together in Brazil 2018. And proper, the party state we are talking about. Because of their soils, profiles, and everything, your reference. And so it's a matter of just putting the longitude location and all the data will come out. If you tell the soil type, how they can be managed, what they can be used for. So what are we talking about? So if somebody says we don't need soil information system, it's a lie. It's something that will need to guide us to do whatever we are doing and to do it well. Number three, implementation. We lack that implementation. You see, when there's a will, there will be a way. As a vice chancellor, I do this every day where I work. Many people you are working with as your drivers are not ready to move the way at which you are moving. So you must provide that leadership, provide that way of doing it to show leadership by example. So if government is trying to slack, what are we doing as some of us as soil scientists? Create awareness, go to the press, and let them know that soil information is very, very important. Number four, we need to coordinate companies. There are a lot of companies who are ready to help. You know, sometimes ASU came up with the idea of taxing companies to generate debt fund. The debt fund we are using today is the baby of idea of ASU. Can we coordinate companies in this country, for goodness sake, to come into this correlation studies of soil information system? And I think it's very clear. If you can do that, like you said, there's so many data scattered all over the places. Now, if companies can come in and put some funding in, we can be able to do this. And I think it's by the era of AI, artificial intelligence, many things can be done with AI. I'm doing so many things with AI now in my own institution. And I think it's a key thing. We just came back from Zurich, some 30 of our vice chancellors, and we were there for training on AI. How we can use AI to leverage on AI in trying to develop our university. And I think it's a tool that we also use in soil science. And I think if we come together, we can also do this.
Soil information. And I want to talk about the aspect of information sharing. It's not as if our department of soil science and department of soil science in all our universities and the institutes that have mandate for soil science are not doing anything. Maybe not at the scale that we have done it, obvious reasons, funding. But then how well are this information available to the users in the form and manner that they can use? When the information are there on the shelves, they are not available to the people that need it. It's as good as if they are not available. As if they are not there. I remember there was a time that the president of SSN requested for information from my department with some of the researches that we have done. And they will pack a note and send me maybe the front part of the material that was used for the soil brief.
Addressing soil health and next generation engagement for sustainable agriculture. Sincerely, I want to welcome all the panelists. You are welcome. To start this session, we'll be listening to Dr. from soil values to open up the session with our presentation.
As we all know, soil health is the cornerstone of sustainable agriculture and food security. It refers to the ability of the soil to support humans, animals, and plants as a living ecosystem. However, global agriculture is at its crossroads, as soil deterioration jeopardizes productivity and environmental health. To ensure long-term sustainability, the next generation of farmers, scientists, and policymakers must actively engage in addressing this dilemma in addition to technical solutions. I would like to quickly point out here that several initiatives are ongoing at the regional and national level. In May 2023, a high-level roundtable on fertilizer, where the West African leaders recognized the urgency of caring for soil health and fertility. Through the Lomé Declaration, they also adopted a clear roadmap for improving soil health and fertility in the region over a 10-year period. From 2023 to 2033, soil values will provide the foundation of food system transformation. It will be a major convener on soil fertility and soil health in the Sahel, and a catalyzer of change among soil health actors to mainstream soil fertility. Soil values will also influence the investment agendas of national and regional governments. This presentation explores the importance of soil health in sustainable agriculture and emphasizes the importance of involving the next generation in this crucial endeavor. So I would like to start with a broad understanding of soil health. Soil health generally refers to the soil's ability to sustain agricultural productivity while maintaining environmental quality. It's the continued capacity of soils to function as a living ecosystem that supports plants, animals, and humans.
In this context of our discussion, are we talking about only the young ones? Am I not going to be a guest delegation person when it comes to soil? After this subject, I want you to please decide also a little about the next generation in this context.
Yeah, maybe in this context, when we talk about the young generation, we are talking about the youth. The focus is on the youth. That is to say, and those also argue that at one time or the other, that the youth is a psychological concept, that you can still be old and be beautiful apart. I remember when my boss was in town, he was 66, and when he was asked to retire, he said, "Sir," he said, "I am old, but I'm still young." So he was saying that. But however, the issue of young generation in this context actually refers to the youth. That is, how can we engage the youth to become soil stewards? How can we empower them? Because they have the energy, they have the power. And as you know that African population is basically youthful. It's full of youth, and that's the unique strength that we have in the continent of Africa that no other continent of the world has that.
I want to come back to the soil and we're talking about, when you say soil power, I am talking about the health. So which means, when we're talking about the value of soil, we are laying so much emphasis on the health status of the soil. And I want to ask you this question based on my personal experience. When I was in school, what group we had for soil science class was what movement. What movement. And I'm asking the question, it's not this clay thing. How will I correct? How will I understand all these places? Do you think what we're doing currently now encourages the young generations to understand agriculture?
So part of the solution is that we need to really reduce the theoretical aspect of transferring this knowledge to our young generation. as possible. They just mentioned how we can use user-friendly application, user-friendly apps, even in our teaching, audio visual, such that the young generation, the students who are learning about soil health, about soil information, will not be, it will be too abstract to them that will make them to run away just like it did some years back. When students are more exposed to practical solutions, they are exposed to field work, they are exposed to simple farming practices that will help them to understand what in real terms soil health is all about. If you're talking about clay soil, they can go to the field and identify what the clay soil is, different aspects of this. If you're talking about the loamy soil, they can go out there and easily identify because they have been able to see it. They can feel it and they can relate to it.
Looking at the Gen Z that we have, that wants clean job, they don't want their hands in the soil until there's one thing you need to do to attract the young ones towards working with soil.
For us to be able to attract the young ones, we need to start from we need to catch them young. And what I mean by that is that we need to start from the primary school. We need to create awareness on the importance of soil health and sustainable agriculture. Like she said, so we need to, the government needs to, we need to incorporate soil health into the school curriculum, right from primary school to university, and also the vocational schools as well. We need to incorporate soil health into their school curriculum, and also for us to be able to engage these youth, especially the youngsters, the young girls, we also need to create at least, what I mean is that we need to also go on social media. The youth of nowadays, they are very good on the tech.
Also, from the transportation from the different presentation so far, also apart from that, we need a multi-stakeholder approach to what we are doing. And that is every group of this stakeholder needs to understand what we are addressing is all about. By that, each group will be able to identify their roles and what is expected of them at every stage. Having said that, I want to invite a presenter for this session representing Sasakawa, which has been a friend of so many stakeholders in the research system in Nigeria. Is simply represented by Mr. Dr. Ibrahim Mufani.
Mine is an extension base. No Sasakawa is an extension organization. We are staying between the researchers and the farmers. We take from the research and extend to farmers. So all what I'm going to present is what we're doing currently towards improving soil health. So we have background. I'm giving the background of soils in Africa. Most of African soils are old, affected by erosion, weather, acidic in nature, rich in iron, and lacking in essential nutrients and organic matter. Depletion of organic carbon and nitrogen pores has resulted in soil fertility loss and increase in greenhouse gases. Evidence shows that wide adoption of regenerative agricultural practices can significantly reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So, SECURIT, Africa Association, we are now currently working on decarbonization, cultivation, and regenerative agricultural practices. For example, in the Benin Republic, we are now currently working in improving rice productivity by decarbonization cultivation to 12 irrigated paddy fields in Benin Republic. While in Nigeria, we are working on a project called evidence-based regenerative agriculture to address climate change in Africa. So, decarbonization, this is a concept of decarbonization. Decarbonization is a whole concept approach toward optimizing carbon capture by implementing practices that are known to increase the rate at which carbon dioxide is removed from atmosphere and stored in plant materials or in soil organic matter.
Professor Ajayi, we are all listening to the various expositions this morning. How do you think we can upscale regenerative agricultural practices to have a greater impact on soil health, diversity increase, and ecosystem sustainability?
The presenter and as a discussant, I strongly believe that my assignment is so simple. Everything that I'm to do here is to bring to bear how we are going to really get results from all we have been discussing ever since. We are talking regenerative and soil health. How are we going to upscale? In the first instance, what is our level of scaling that we now want to upscale? That is the point at which we have to start. In theory, there is this theory that is not common in academic balance of research, and that is destructive-constructive theory. In this theory, what we mostly do, especially our people that are really looking at us, is they want to ensure that they destroy some things and come back to us to tell us they are reconstructing it. All of us in this auditorium, we are quite aware of indigenous knowledge. We are quite aware of our indigenous practices. If this is what we are just trying to repackage, what we have been doing is we are repackaging our indigenous practices. The first thing is, who is killing the soil? Who is making the soil sick? That we are talking of the soil health. Who is making the soil sick? And where are we taking the soil to for killing? And what type of killing are we targeting? Is it curative? Or we are trying to prevent it, as it happens in the case of human beings? If you know that soil is a living being, contrary to what we used to know, then who is making the soil sick? Are they part of our activity? Are they part of our regeneration? Are they part of our research activities?
The first one is, how can generative agricultural balance to those of soil health, supervision, biodiversity conservation, and ecosystem services? We need to increase food production to meet the Nigerian demand first, because of the scale of the demand and global demand. That is the first one. Then the second one, you can also think of what climate smart practices will you say they are good to boost production and improve soil resilience to degradation, because that is the essence of the whole thing. Thank you.
You know, when we are discussing this regenerative agriculture, you know, there is theoretical aspect to it and there is a practical aspect to it. The theoretical aspect of regenerative agriculture is trying to tell us that you are producing using the soil, and at the same time you are also regenerating. The implication of that is that you are trying to leave the soil even better than what it was when you started off. That is the theoretical concept of regenerative agriculture. But in practice, this is exactly what we are doing all around.
The land is green, it's green, oh, oh. The land is green, it's green, can't you see? The harvest is ready, 'cause the Lord of the harvest told me so.
A number of issues need attention for Nigeria to attain food sufficiency. And the first thing we need to know is that food sufficiency is possible in Nigeria. Okay? But we need to leverage appropriate technologies and soil information. I mean, when the soil becomes unproductive, forget about increase in food production. Okay? And so the issue of soil management using adequate information is very principal for us to attain food security.
The ministry is very happy with the program of today and with the theme soil information management, because it resonates deeply with what the ministry has actually been doing in order to sustain agricultural practices to produce food security to the populace. Iar&T has been doing a lot. We have been pivotal in research regarding soil crops, and we really commend them for their efforts. And the ministry has been supporting and will continue to support the research.